So boom, I go into the other group. I'm trying to see what happened to the lady because all I see is RIP, RIP, RIP next to her name. So I'm nosy. I'm trying to see what happened because what? So come to find out, she was doing some ritual with a whole bunch of candles and herbs and oils, and she was doing some sort of dark ritual, and ended up she left the candles unattended overnight and went to sleep, and the candles ended up catching fire and starting this big ass house fire, burnt her house to the ground with her, her husband, and three of her four kids, burnt it to the ground. Like, when I say, I was like, oh my goodness, like that's crazy. So that's why, you should probably be careful in these spiritual streets if you don't know what you're talking about, and if you don't know who you fucking with, and if you don't know who you're dealing with. And furthermore, that's why you shouldn't leave your candles unattended.
Please, please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Huh? Yes.
Look at you.
Something with it.
It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me always. Money coming in all day. Money coming in all pay. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, this is money coming. This is money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me.
Y'all, so this story is good. It involves African American hoodoo with white people practicing African voodoo, and then basically there was a house fire. The white lady ended up dying because she was in the middle of doing some sort of voodoo, and something happened where she fell asleep and the house burned down, and everybody's wishing her a RIP, right? But then there's a black lady who joined the white group, and she ended up starting her own group because she found out that white people shouldn't be practicing African American voodoo or hoodoo, and then she started her own group with her own black friends or people who joined her group, to the point where they started calling her Beyonce, or she started feeling like Queen Bee, right? And then something happened into that group, and just let's get into the story because it gets so crazy to the point where I'm like, what is going on? First of all, as soon as she said that the white people that she joined their group were all white, but they were referring to themselves as like African, like Orishas, I fell out. Let's get into it because this is crazy, and this is why I highly recommend you doing your own practice. Yes, it's more powerful when 2 or 3 are gathered. That's what the Bible says, and it's true when it comes to hoodoo as well. It gets stronger, it's more powerful, but also in different groups, not just spiritual groups, but in different groups, there's always going to be some sort of drama, and there's always going to be, oh, I'm higher than you, or I've been here longer, I should be respected more, and all that stuff. That is why it's so much better when you are a hermit, where you do your own things by yourself, because there's always going to be some sort of drama, especially when there's unhealed and or childish people around. Let's get into the story because it gets good by the minute. And when I found out what happened to one of the white ladies that started the group, I fell out of my chair. I was like, oh my God. But the minute I heard that she was referring to herself as some sort of African Orisha, as a white German woman, I was like, oh Lord. And I think one of the Orishas came to collect. Okay, let's get into the story. Grab your drink, grab your smoke, whatever it is that you need, because this story gets so good. Let's get into it.
Hey girl, hey. So I decided to do something a little bit different in my content, and now I want to tell you guys about how I used to be a voodoo priestess, a voodoo high priestess. I practiced voodoo, hoodoo, and everything like that. So back in 2015, like right after I had my son, I ended up, like, I don't want to say dibbling and dabbling, because I've always been like magically inclined to where I always, wanted to do spells. Like ever since I started seeing, remember that movie The Craft and Matilda and stuff like that? Like you might be a little bit witchy if you used to really like gravitate towards those things. But as a kid, I can say like I've always been like a master manifester. So much so to where I can say something, just say something. I don't have to do anything, no rituals, burn no candles, nothing. And it'll come to fruition. Now, mind you, when I was a kid and I used to speak like that, like anything I wanted, and it would just come out of my mouth, of course, back then, you know, it would take a lot longer for it to come into fruition. Like, I might say something like, oh, I want to move to Atlanta because, you know, I'm from LA. And I'm like, oh, I want to move to Georgia. I want to move to Atlanta. So it ended up happening like 2-3 years later, but it ended up happening. And just other instances like that to where I've always been like knowledgeable. Like I always knew things like before, you know, they happened. Like I used to have dreams about stuff. I could manifest things just using my mouth, like et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, we get it.
But after my son was born in 2015. In 2016, like I started really getting into like spell work, witchcraft, like new age stuff. And I wouldn't say Wiccan because it definitely wasn't Wiccan, but back then there wasn't that much stuff about voodoo, especially hoodoo. Like I had no idea what hoodoo was when I first started. But I started getting into it a little bit more, and I joined this Facebook group with this couple that was running this big hoodoo group. I won't say their names. Like, I don't know, you know, I don't know if they're okay with that. But I'm not going to say their names. But it was a couple. It was a white couple. They were from, like, the bayou in Louisiana, right? And they were so great. They was a bit older than me. And they had, like, a big group that was, like, really growing and growing. And that was the first experience that I pretty much had, you know, starting and getting into witchcraft where I could ask my questions. Other people would ask questions. But then I started noticing that I was kind of like rising up in the ranks, so to speak, in the group because I was commenting the most. I was asking the most questions. Like, and they really started acknowledging me, X, Y, and Z. So I started posting stuff that I was doing. Like, I was posting, you know, the spells that I would do, you know, the rituals that I would do. I would post that in the group and I'd get their feedback. And, you know, it started like people started coming to me in my inbox like, hey, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Can you, you know, I'll pay you. Can you do this ritual for me? And I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I was just now like really learning things about it. So it was kind of weird to me and crazy to me that people were already coming to me and wanting me to do stuff for them, right? So fast forward a little bit later. Now, mind you, when I first started in this group, in this hoodoo group, it was mostly white folks, right? So much so to where there was this woman and she was Russian, right? And she was calling herself like a priestess in ATR, which is African traditional religions, right? So put a pin in that. That's another story for another time, okay? But so I'm in this group. It's mostly white folks. Then, like, other black girls started like coming into the group. Black people started coming into the group, you know, and everything like that. I don't know if it was because I can say that I influenced a lot of people to start, you know, doing voodoo and hoodoo. But, you know, I'm going to explain more. But so black folks started coming into the group more, which I was loving because traditionally hoodoo is supposed to be an African American like cultural,
Right.
I guess, religion, if you want to say, or path, spiritual path. So more black folks started coming into the group. And although I was loving it because, you know, I didn't really want to be around like only white folks, like, you know what I'm saying? But when, you know, when all of the more black people started joining, the group started getting more like racial undertones, like racially motivated, to where the black folks was kind of telling the white folks like, hey, like, y'all not supposed to be practicing this. This is for black African American people only. It's a closed practice. You can't practice this. So the group started getting a little bit, you know, racially, you know, motivated in undertones, like I said. So of course, like, I'm gonna side. So of course, if it come down to it, I'm gonna choose my people. Like, I'm gonna, you know, choose black folks. So this girl end up was like, let's make our own group. So we ended up doing that. Y'all, it was popping so severely. Like, we had like almost 20,000 members like in that group. It was popping so severely. We was getting money. We was getting so much money because we was doing spiritual products, oils, and other things like that. People was paying us to do like root work and spell work for them and everything. And it was jumping back. Like, it was working. Like, I ain't even gonna hold you. Like, when I would do stuff for other people, it would jump back. Like, it really would. So we was getting money and everything, and we was kind of getting a little clout, like a little buzz. Like, at one point in time, a bitch felt like Beyonce, because I would wake up and it would just be like rumors about me, in the spiritual community. Like, people was talking shit, like, it, praising me and talking shit. There were some people that was praising me, and there was some people that was talking shit. You know what I'm saying? So, like, every day, like, that's how, like, kind of low-key famous we was, like, in the spiritual community at that time. So the other girl, Brianna, she started to, like, get slick jealous or whatever. Like, she was getting jealous that, people was paying so much attention to me. Like, that people felt like really I was the leader instead of both of us. Like, they started calling me Queen Bee and everything like that. And she really didn't like that, because it can't be two queens in one castle. You know what I'm saying? So she started, like, doing just, like, funny shit. Like, every time she get mad at me, she'll kick me out the group and block me out the group, block me, everything like that. And I'm like, bitch, how the fuck you gonna kick me out of my own group? Like, this is just weird. So, but she just started doing stuff. Then she'd come to her senses and come back and, be like, oh, I'm sorry, come back to the group. And she had did this maybe about 3 times, maybe like a good 3 times, and she had kicked me out and blocked me and everything, and then try to come back, because she didn't really know what she was doing. Like, I didn't either, but I was learning, and when I learned, I teach other people what I learned. You know what I'm saying? So I was a big, I guess, spiritual guru, I guess you could say, in those days at that time. So basically, she kept doing that. She did it like 3 times. After the 3rd time she did it, I just went and made my own group. So this group was called the Hoodoo Honeys. The group that I was in before was called Hoodoo Boos. So this time I just decided I was going to do it by myself. So I went, did it by myself, got my own little group. This group started popping severely, right? So, now we got that one group that's popping. Now we got this group now that's popping. So because she got mad at me for going to go make my own group, the girl Brianna in the other group, it was like she was my arch nemesis. She went from like my best friend to like my arch nemesis. Like, she wanted to do everything I was doing. She would steal everything that I was doing and put it in her group. She had like little undercover people, like little mole agents that was in my group, just to kind of scout and see what's going on, and then take it and run, tell that, and run, tell her what we're doing so that she could do the same things. Like, it was damn near like we was in a witch war. Like, it was crazy, which I've been in a whole bunch of witch wars, but again, that's another story for another time. But so I'm, just trying to mind my own business, build my own platform by myself that can't nobody kick me out of, that can't nobody, you know what I'm saying, be playing all those games, because I'm like, bitch, I'm not finna keep playing with you, because at that point you messing up my money. And when you play with my money, you play with my emotions. You know what I'm saying? So she got mad. We, be going back and forth or whatever, and then it started to become really evident in the spiritual community that, like, it was beef between me and her. It was a very public falling out, if you will, okay? So anyways, so I'm making my own group. I'm doing my own thing. Now, mind you, it was not just that group or that girl that, started having, like, animosity towards me. So it was a lot of, like, most of the time it was women who would pretend to be my friend, because the favor that comes with me, and because, like, a bitch know how to do magic, and a bitch know how to make some shit happen, like, for real, in real life, okay? IRL, okay? But then they start getting jealous of me, and then they start turning on me and shit. So I started, really falling back from it a little bit. Like, I started, like, not being as, I guess, active in it as I was, because it's like, you bitches just don't like me for no reason. Like, you'll find something in your mind, or the first time I tell you, no, I'm not going to do that, or the first time I tell you, no, that nigga not for you, I'm not going to do no love spell for you, or, you need to do some self-love work, you need to. So, me and these girls would always fall out, because it got to a point where as soon as I say no to something, you know, they'll get mad, turn on me, start trying to throw hexes and curses, everything like that. So anyways, so after that, I don't know how it happened. I don't know how it happened, but like people started really calling me the goddess of love because I was like gangster at love spells. Like if I did a love spell on a man for a client or something, he gonna go. Okay, he's gonna fall for her. He's gonna, you know. So I started doing a lot of love work. I was doing baneful magic, like breakup work, hex work, curses. You know, for people, they would pay me to do it. Like I used to be one of those, like for hire witches. You know what I'm saying? That'll make some shit shake. Like if you wanted that nigga to be turned into a roach by Saturday, he was gonna be turned to a roach. Okay. So I'm doing work for all these different people. Like it was to the point where I had clients. Like I had people that would come back to me over and over again because they knew my magic works, and like anything that, you know, I put my mind on would come to fruition. Okay. So after that happened, like I was doing like a lot of baneful magic, not a lot, but I would do breakup work, hexes, curses, like turn people life to shit. Like, you know, and that's a lot of stuff that like I'm not even proud of. Like that's not to brag or nothing like that, because that's like hella low vibrational. And when I look back now, like it was almost 10 years ago now, but you know, when I look back at it now, like I'd be so disgusted with myself that I did those kind of things, but they came into fruition. You know what I'm saying? So then I ended up inventing like this douche, right? So I ended up inventing like this douche that was like a love spell in a bottle. Like I don't know what I was doing and putting in those douches. They was called voodoo pussy douches or bomb ass pussy douches. Okay. Nice. So some people was even calling it pussy crack, because these are like herbs that, you know, I'd steep myself. These dishes were handmade. Like I know people be like, oh, you're not supposed to douche, you know, gynecologists say you're not supposed to douche, but like this was a holistic dish that was really like helping people. So not only would you use this dish and a man would go crazy, y'all, like the man would go crazy if a woman, like I started selling them. So, and that was popping severely. So if a woman would use that like before sex or before a date or before, you know, seeing her little boo thing or whatever, like he would be all over her. Like people started sending me all these reviews about what happened and what the man did to her and everything like that. And so it just started snowballing into like all these different things, because my dishes wasn't just you know, it was multifaceted. It wasn't just a one trick pony. Like my dishes was like, it's like a love spell. It was like for PCOS, like endometriosis, like infertility, like people was using my dishes. Women was using my dishes and getting pregnant after they had been trying for so long, you know, suffering from infertility. They'd use my dishes and they get pregnant. Like that was like the most thing, you know, the most prominent, you know, side effect of my dishes. And I still do. Also, while we talking about it, my dishes also cure, get rid of BV, yeast, infections, everything like that. It would tighten and tone the uterine walls, you know, make it tight, make it right, you know, make it fresh, you know, balance your pH. Anyways, y'all, I ain't gonna get into that, but I had to like put that little plug in real quick, you know what I'm saying? So I started selling these dishes. Like men was going crazy over it, the women was buying them back to back, you know, everything like that. So eventually, like I started teaching classes, and you know, it came to a point where I felt like I had learned everything that I could learn, and I had taught everything that I could teach at that time, because I was teaching people about, you know, ancestor veneration, you know, venerating their ancestors, you know, talking about just a whole lot of different things. Then I started teaching them about the Orisha, like learning about them, all the different deities, all the different saints, you know, how to do certain kind of magic, how to do money magic, how to do, you know, glamour spells. I started teaching classes with like these few other like veteran witches. Like we started teaching classes, like everything was cool, everything was smooth, everything was honky-dory. At this point, I'm feeling like a cult leader, okay? Like I'm feeling like that I've made a cult of damn near 20,000 people. Like I'm the cult leader. If I say jump up and down and spin in a circle, they was gonna do it. Like like Blueface, if I would have told them, hey, bark like a dog and I'll let you in, they would have did it. Like, and that's not, again, that's nothing to brag about, because, you know, I just had influence, you know what I'm saying? And so I started to notice how I was influencing them negatively. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hindsight is 2020. Like, at the time I didn't think that I was, but, you know, I started seeing how I was influencing them negatively, because, you know, instead of doing the self-love work, instead of doing the shadow work, instead of doing, you know, the inner work that you got to do to actually heal, like, you be in a bad way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not really in a way to be practicing and dibbling dabbling in magic and, you know, energy manipulation when, you know, you still have trauma, or you haven't healed, you haven't done your shadow work, because you'll get a lot, like, you'll get. So if you start trying to dibble and dabble in magic, and you haven't done the work, and you haven't healed, and you haven't done your shadow work or trauma, you start to get petty. It's almost like a power trip. Like, you get so, like, up in your head and conceited about, you know, once you do a spell or two and you see it really working, like, you start getting like a power trip that you can really, like, make anyone around you do whatever you want. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can make anybody around you do whatever it is that you know, set your intentions to do with this spell. And I'll admit, like, you know, a lot of people was getting power hungry. Like, it will make you petty, like, everything like that. Like, it was some bitches, I was about to say witches, but, you know, it was some girls who would start throwing hexes and curses and stuff like that for a bitch that looked at them funny. You know what I'm saying? And that's really not what I was trying to convey. They started doing a lot of love work on niggas that didn't really want them. So they were doing, like, spell work, like love magic and love, you know, spells on men who didn't really want them for real. You know what I'm saying? And it just started getting out of hand, because people was just being all willy-nilly. You know what I'm saying? Like, you give them a little bit of power, you give them an inch and they'll take a mile. So eventually I started falling back from doing any sort of magic that would interfere with free will, like a love spell or, you know, anything like that. I just stopped doing it. You know, I stopped doing breakup work. I stopped doing baneful magic. I stopped doing everything like that, because I'm like, wait a minute, we done lost the plot. Okay, we lost the plot. Like, yeah, I'm a witch, you know, I'm a voodoo high priestess and everything like that, and I was, you know, doing love spells and, you know, abusing my power really is what I was doing, now that I'm thinking about it. But again, hindsight is 2020, and I didn't look at it like that at that time. Like, if a man didn't want you, he don't want you. You know what I'm saying? And even when I would do love spells for myself, I never had so many problems in my love life as when I started doing magic, you know, love magic and everything, because before that I was the love spell. Like, so much so to where my brother would be like, oh, they done caught the angel dust. And when he says they caught the angel dust, that means they done caught the vapors from me. They done fell in love with me. Like, it's always been like that since I was a kid. Like, you know, little boys had little crushes on me and everything like that. Little girls had little crushes on me and stuff like that, just growing up. And I never had so many problems in my love life as when I started doing love magic, until, you know, I really had to bump my head enough times to realize, like, that's not something that you should interfere with. That's not something that you should bend somebody's free will to make them be with somebody that they don't want to be with. You know, they're walking away from is toxic, or, you know, they're breaking up, and you trying to do these love spells to make this man come back, and that's against his will. He don't want that girl. So even the baneful magic, like, I started looking at it like, you may have a problem with this person, and you may want to hex this person to make this person's life fall apart, but what was your part in it, first of all? And why do you know, it stopped being righteous, it stopped being helpful, and it started to become baneful and negative and, you know, low vibrations, because that's all these bitches want to do is just do love spells. You know, some of them would, you know, want me to do money spells or prosperity spells, but the most of it was about love. It was always about a nigga. It was always about break these two people up so I can have him and he can come back to me. Let me buy your dishes because I want this man to be crazy over me and never leave me. How do I get this man back? How do I get this man back? How do I get this man back? And it gets to a point where I just was like, you know what, you guys, and this is what I'm saying in the group. So I'm like, you know what, you guys, we need to heal. I want to start doing some self-love work. I want to start doing some protection, some healing of childhood trauma, of generational curses. Let's start loving ourselves. Hey guys, let's start loving yourselves. They did not like that. They did not like that. You would have thought that I had offended these bitches' ancestors when I'm like, okay, let's stop doing the bad shit and start, getting into things that we really should be trying to fix, really trying to heal. And so they didn't like that. So once I started really trying to raise the vibrations of the group, it was such a hard task to go from telling these women that they can have any man they want, and not really, but just telling them that they can do whatever they want, basically, with the rituals and with the witchcraft and everything like that. You could do anything you want to do. So once I started being like, hey, let's heal, let's do the shadow work, let's not talk to this man if he doesn't want to talk to us, let's not try to get this man back if he don't want to be with us, let's not break these people up, simply because I want him or her, and I can't let them go. So once I started trying to get them and push them to heal and to have self-love and to do different things, the whole group pretty much, bitch, it was a mutiny, okay? They turned on me. Like, I wouldn't really say it like that per se, but it was a lot of people in there that was so low vibrational that I couldn't pull them up. I couldn't pull their vibrations up because they was just dead set. They was set in their ways. They didn't care, who it hurt or what was going on. It was just like that. So I had to fall back completely from the group, and I tried a couple times to make another group to try to cleanse like the energy of it and to Hey y'all, hey. So last time you were here, I was telling you about what happened in the Voodoo group, right? So a lot of y'all wanted to know what ended up happening with the white Russian lady that was saying that she was an ancestral witch in ATR, in African traditional religions. So when I left the original group, the original Hoodoo group, and I made my own group, and then I started making my dishes, remember? So once she found out that I was making dishes, now mind you, hold on, before I get to that, we didn't really talk much, me and that lady. She was kind of standoffish, like it was kind of like a, oh, I'm better than you, I'm more powerful than you type of vibe that she had. And I'm like, okay, girl, like, weird flex, but okay. And so basically what happened was, like, I asked her a couple of questions and she was kind of, standoffish, and she answered a couple of little questions for me or whatever, and I bought a couple of her products. Like, she had this real gangster crazy like hexing oil called Total Annihilation oil, and then she had this other oil, I think it was for love or something like that, I forgot. But these oils were like $40 a piece. $40, yes, $40 a piece. So I ended up buying a couple of her products, and I had asked her a couple of questions, but we wasn't really friends. I wouldn't call her like a friend or an acquaintance even, because she just really thought that she was better than me, and it was like, it was giving envious, right? But whatever. So when I ended up making my own group and I started making my dishes, like, it was her and another, I guess, top name witch, I guess, that was in the group that started making hate posts against me and saying basically like, why would y'all buy her dishes? She doesn't know what she's doing. Why would y'all put that up y'all coochie? X, Y, and Z. Like, she was like majorly hating. Like, she kept making posts about me, on the book of the face, and like, she wouldn't stop. Like, she just kept coming for me, and I was trying to tell her, like, girl, it doesn't matter if you try to say that you're an African traditional religious witch, ancestral witch, bitch, you're white, so you're never gonna what are we talking about here? Like, you're never gonna be more powerful than me as a black woman practicing a black African American like religion. Like, what are we talking about here? This is weird. Because I'm not even competing with you, but you're competing with me. Like, you're the one who has the beef. I don't have any beef. You're being fucking weird. So anyways, this girl kept trying to drag me. Like, for real, kept trying to drag me. So much so to where her and the other girl that clicked up, I believe her name was like Denise Alvarado or something like that. And she makes a whole lot of like, she writes a whole lot of hoodoo books and stuff like that. Which, again, the lady Denise Alvarado is white. So how are you making all of these, writing all of these books? Bitch, where are you getting this information from? This is just weird. So both of them clicked up and was trying to like come against me and like drag me on Facebook, so much so to where they had got some old mug shots that I had. Yes, a bitch used to be a criminal, okay? But I ain't got no felonies, so, you know, whatever. So they try to discredit me by like grabbing some mug shots, some old ass mug shots when I was like 20, 21 or whatever, posting them up on Facebook, trying to be like, oh, see, look, she's a criminal. Bitch, did you pay attention that I was smiling in those mug shots? Because number one, bitch, I got money for bond. And number two, bitch, I don't have no felonies because my court case spells is A1. So what are we talking about here? Again. So anyways, after that happened, I just let it go. I was like, bitch, I'm not finna beef with you. You're not beefing with me. You beef by yourself, because why are you coming for me so hard when you never even talk to me? I never even talked to you. I ain't got shit to say to you. You shouldn't have shit to say about me. So anyways, we go on. Some time goes by. Some time passes. And it was maybe about a year later, maybe not even a whole year later, I start seeing this girl's name all up and down my news feed. So I was still a member in the original group with all the white folks in it. I was still a member. So I'm nosy. So I want to go see what's going on, because her name was coming up, popping up, and I hadn't seen her name in a while. So I'm trying to see what this bitch got going on, because, you know, like I said, I'm nosy. I want to know the tea. So I go in the group, and I'm trying to see what's going on with her. I start saying R.I.P., 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 R.I.P.
Not to say that you shouldn't hire someone to do the work for you, but it is more potent and more powerful when you do it yourself, especially when you follow the steps properly, because ain't no way you're going to make any mistakes. If you follow the steps properly, you do whatever meditation you need to, you do whatever fasting you need to based on the work that you're doing, and you just simply follow the steps, right? So you don't necessarily have to have someone to do the work for you. And when your energy is being mixed up with the herbs and with the candles and all that stuff, it's just more potent. But a lot of people do like to join a group because they don't trust themselves enough. That is what, in my opinion, that's one of the reasons why people like to join groups. But this is usually what happens when there's too many groups, too many, how do you call this, too many sheriffs, not enough workers, or too many sheriffs, not enough Indians, right? Everybody wants to be a leader, but no one wants to be the one to say, you know what, I want you to teach me, or let me teach you type stuff. It's just too much. It's just too much. And I think that group had really huge potential. They had really good potentials to really be a strong group with a bunch of black women who are very powerful. You know, everybody is expressing their talent and bringing it all to the table. But of course, one thing that we have in our community is that crab in a barrel type stuff, right? We make it seem as though like there's not enough money and resources to go around for everyone to win. And that's the problem that we have, because the way she was saying that their group was thriving, they were making money, they were making herbs, you know, oils and all these amazing things, they could have built a huge empire. But of course they allowed their ego to get in the way, where, not to say that they could have gotten way bigger than even the people who got them into the group to begin with. Not to say that that could have been the case, but it could have very much been the case. But of course, everyone has ego. Everyone wants to be the one, to be the number one, and want to be on top. And that's one of the reasons why I highly recommend you just do your own practice. Hey guys, I'm Jenny, and this is Shameless Plug. So I want to tell you guys about my Crown of Success manifestation book with easy, simple rituals and spells to manifest a life of abundance in your life. And those spells are so easy, even a child can do it. So this book is filled with different spells that I've learned over the years from my family, passed down from grandma and everything. And also those are spells that I've actually tried and I know that they work. So this book not only teach you step by step on the things that you can do that are so easy that a child can do it, but it tells you like the proper moon phase to use alchemy, manifesting with numbers, numerology, and also the days of the week that best fit for this particular spell. So it tells you the timing of when to practice the spell, the days of the week, the moon phase. It shows you all the colors of the candles that you should be using and different planets. So for example, I show you like planet Jupiter is for Thursdays and the hours of the days that you should be doing the spell. So this is an easy road opener spell. So I know a lot of people like to do like different spell work, but if your roads are blocked, of course your spells are not going to work. So it's good to unblock yourself first and then start using the spell, especially with the new years and the new days to come. And also I have some amazing spells in here. This is a powerful quick money spell, so if you're in a bind for some money and you're just trying to get some money. And I even have some easy powerful spell to win game of chance. So if you are a gambler, now I don't promote gambling, but if you are a gambler and you're just trying to make some money and trying to make sure you win, these spells will definitely help you. It tells you the best days to do it. So it says the best days to perform this spell is on a Thursday, Jupiter day. Jupiter is the planet of good fortune, luck, and expansion. Jupiter is the best day to perform spells that boost luck and increase your chance of success in any game of chance or any money spell, period. It has a list of so many spells that you can incorporate in your life with this new year to bring prosperity. And I even put some bonus spells on here, which for Saturday is a day to do like protection work. So I have a spell for like send back to sender. So I put some bonus spells on here, and then a protection with Archangel Michael. So there's so many spells on here. Removing the evil eye spell, so you can remove evil eye in your money and also in your everyday life. New Year home blessing spell, and I know it's been a few days since the new year started, but you can always do a home blessing spell any days of the week. As long as you need it, you could do it. So anyways, guys, this is my book. It's called Crown of Success by Jenny, and it's available on Amazon, the ebook and also the physical copying. So please grab a copy if you're interested in supporting this channel. This is a way to support the channel and to support me as well for putting out, content every day for you guys. So enjoy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this book, and I hope you go and grab your copy, whether it's the ebook or the physical copy. I say have a physical copy, but it's really up to how much, your wallet and what you can afford. So anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Mwah. This is a shameless plug, so just check out my channel, okay? Love you guys. Mwah.